You walk into a room. There's someone smiling at you. Friendly, polite, maybe even charming. But something inside you whispers, this person isn't what they seem. You ignore it. You smile back. Days later, you're caught in their web, and you never even saw it coming. What if you could see it coming? What if you could recognize the silent signs, the subtle clues, and protect yourself before it's too late? In today's video, we're diving into something most people avoid talking about: the 6 types of dangerous people you must stay away from. These aren't just the loud, obvious villains. No, some of them blend in. They smile. They compliment. They even pretend to care. But behind the mask, they manipulate, control, drain, and sometimes destroy. You've probably encountered at least one of them. A friend who always plays the victim, a boss who twists your words, a partner who turns your doubts into their advantage. It happens more often than we think, and often we only realize the danger when we're already hurt. That's why this video matters. We're not just giving you the basic red flags you've heard 100 times before. We'll go deeper into the subtle signs, the psychology behind their actions, and how they operate under the radar. You'll learn how these people twist your reality without you knowing, charm their way into your trust, and trap you in emotional confusion before you even realize you're stuck. We'll break down 6 distinct types. Some are emotionally draining, some are dangerous to your peace, and some can ruin your life if you don't walk away fast. And here's something most people never talk about. Some of the most dangerous people aren't always violent. In fact, the most damaging ones are often the ones you like at first. They're good at reading others. They mimic your values. They say what you want to hear. And by the time you spot the cracks, you've already lowered your guard. In the next few minutes, you'll discover why certain charming people are actually emotional predators. How gaslighting isn't just manipulation, it's psychological warfare. Why narcissists aren't just selfish, they're deeply insecure, and that makes them unpredictable. And how the dark triad personality type, made up of narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy, can be the most dangerous of all. These aren't just theories. We've pulled from real psychological research, including work by experts like Dr. Ramani Durvasula, George Simon, as well as case studies from therapy rooms and behavioral science reports. One chilling fact: studies show that 1 in 25 people may qualify as a clinical psychopath. They don't all become criminals. Many become CEOs, politicians, or even relationship partners, functioning in society, hiding in plain sight. They know how to blend in, and that's what makes them so dangerous. You'll also learn how to spot the difference between someone who's just difficult and someone who's actively dangerous, because not every tough personality is toxic, but some are, and once you see the signs, you can't unsee them. We'll also touch on how these people use emotional hooks, like guilt, flattery, or fake vulnerability, to get close to you, how they use your empathy against you, and how to break the cycle if you've already been pulled in. Throughout this video, we'll keep it simple, no complex psychology terms, just clear, honest breakdowns, based on real-world patterns. You'll walk away not just informed, but empowered. By the end of this video, you'll know how to trust your instincts when something feels off, set healthy boundaries without guilt, and avoid the traps that these types of people often lay without saying a single cruel word. If you've ever felt confused by someone's behavior, if you've ever second-guessed yourself after a conversation, if you've ever walked away from someone feeling drained, but unsure why, then this video is for you. Because knowledge is power, and when it comes to dangerous people, your power lies in your awareness. The sooner you see the signs, the sooner you can take your power back. So sit tight, watch till the end, because each type is more deceptive than the last, and the final one might just be the most dangerous of all. Welcome to Mindspire, your space for deep insights, real talk and tools to protect your mental clarity and emotional strength. If this sounds like the kind of wisdom you need more of in your life, take a second to hit that subscribe button. It's free, and it helps us bring more awareness to the people who need it most. And if you've ever encountered someone like this, share your experience in the comments. You never know who you might help by speaking up. Absolutely. Here's a 400-word section for intro. Why it matters. Euro 20, Euro 40. Written in clear, flowing, natural English. It avoids any summary or conclusion and maintains forward momentum for the next section. We all meet new people at work, in relationships, even online. Most of the time we assume they're like us. Decent, fair, honest. But that's not always true. Some people carry hidden patterns, not obvious at first, but over time they drain your energy, twist your thoughts, and damage your peace. This is why it matters. Dangerous people don't always show their true face. In the beginning, they might smile, they might compliment you, some even pretend to be helpful or protective. But once they sense a weakness, they use it, and they don't stop until they've taken something from you. Your trust, your money, your control, or your sense of self. It starts with little things. A small lie, a guilt trip, a conversation that leaves you confused or doubting yourself. And slowly, your confidence fades. You question your own thoughts. You keep giving more, hoping they'll change. But they don't. The damage isn't just emotional. These people can ruin your mental health. Some destroy your financial life. Others put you in physical danger. It doesn't matter how smart you are. Anyone can fall into their trap. Because they don't attack with fists or loud threats. They attack with silence, charm, and manipulation. You might think I would know if someone was dangerous. But would you? Some of them are experts in hiding who they are. They know how to play the victim, how to twist stories, how to get inside your head and shift blame onto you. And by the time you realize what's happening, you've already lost time, energy, money, or work. This isn't just about avoiding toxic people. It's about protecting your future. It's about recognizing the red flags before they turn into regrets. And it's about learning how to respond, not with anger, but with awareness. Because once you see the signs, you don't unsee them. And once you understand their patterns, you take back your power. So if you've ever felt drained after spending time with someone, if you've ever been talked into things you didn't want to do, or if you've stayed in a situation that felt wrong but looked normal, this video is for you. Certainly. Here's a naturally flowing, 400-word section for Type 1, the charming manipulator, written in simple English, without conclusion or summary, and suitable for a faceless YouTube video script. They're easy to like at first. That's the thing about charming manipulators. They don't come off as dangerous. In fact, they're often the first to compliment you, support you, or make you feel seen. They smile, they listen,
They seem thoughtful. You let your guard down. Because why wouldn't you? They appear genuine, but that charm isn't real. It's calculated. The charming manipulator is a master at reading people. They quickly figure out what you want to hear. And they say it. They notice what makes you feel good. And they use it to build a fast connection. Their goal isn't to care for you. It's to win your trust. And once they have it, the mask slowly comes off. At first, the shift is small. Maybe they forget a promise. But they give you a sweet excuse. Maybe they blame stress. Or say it was a misunderstanding. You believe them. After all, they were so kind in the beginning. You give them another chance. But then it happens again. Little by little, they start twisting things in their favor. If they mess up, they say you're too sensitive. If they lie, they say you misunderstood. And if you catch them doing something wrong, they act like you're attacking them. Suddenly you're the one apologizing. That's how they work. By turning the situation upside down. Guilt is one of their favorite tools. If you speak up, they act hurt. If you ask for space, they call you cold. If you catch them in a lie, they cry or act like the victim. It makes you feel bad for even questioning them. You start doubting your own feelings. The more you forgive, the more power they gain. They don't raise their voice. They don't need to. Their real weapon is confusion. And that confusion keeps you hooked. Trying to fix things. Trying to understand them. Trying to get back the warm version of them you met at the start. But that version was just bait. Charming manipulators don't want connection. They want control. And they'll keep adjusting their words, their tone and their behavior to get it. Everything they do is designed to serve their needs. And once they know they can get away with small things, they go further. Always a little further. Of course, here is a 400-word section for Type 2. The Narcissist. Written in a natural flowing style. For a faceless YouTube video script, with no conclusion or summary. At first, they seem confident, self-assured, maybe even inspiring. They speak about their goals, their talents, their vision. You admire that. There's something attractive about people who believe in themselves. But with the narcissist, that confidence comes with a cost. And eventually you pay for it. The narcissist doesn't just feel proud. They feel special, above others, unique. They expect praise, attention and admiration, not once, but constantly. And if they don't get it, they become cold, irritated or even cruel. Their world revolves around them, and you're just a part of it, only as long as you serve a purpose. They see people as tools, not equals. Friends, partners, co-workers. Everyone is either useful or invisible. If you admire them, agree with them, and help them shine, they'll keep you around. But the moment you question them, or ask for something they don't like, you'll see another side. Dismissive, distant, sometimes angry. One of the biggest signs is their need for loyalty. On their terms. They expect you to defend them, agree with them, stand by them, no matter what. But they won't do the same for you. Your feelings don't matter, unless they fit their story. Your pain is often ignored, or worse, used against you later. The narcissist lacks empathy. That's the core of it. They might say the right words, but the feeling isn't there. If you tell them you're hurt, they may shrug, laugh, or tell you to stop being dramatic. They don't understand or care how their actions affect others. They might even blame you for being upset. Everything is about control, image, and power. In public, they may act charming or generous, but in private, They often criticize, dismiss, or compete with the very people closest to them. They want to be the center of attention, even in conversations that aren't about them. And when things go wrong, it's never their fault. They find someone to blame. If you try to talk about an issue, they may twist the story, or accuse you of being ungrateful. You walk away confused, feeling like you did something wrong, even when you didn't. What makes it harder is that narcissists are often successful. They know how to impress others, but behind the surface is someone who feeds on validation and empties the people around them. To get it, certain.
Here's a 400-word section. Type 3. The psychopath. Impulse rage. Written with smooth flow and simple language. Designed for a faceless YouTube video script. No conclusion or summary is included. As requested. They may not look dangerous. In fact, some seem completely normal, calm, even friendly. They make eye contact. They smile. They say all the right things. But beneath the surface, there's something missing. Emotion, warmth, a sense of real connection. With the psychopath, what you see on the outside is a mask. Behind it is someone cold, calculated, and often unpredictable. They're not always violent. Many stay under the radar, but they share one major trait. They lack remorse. They can lie without blinking, hurt others without guilt, and walk away from chaos like nothing ever happened. It's not because they don't understand right from wrong. They do. They just don't care. Their charm can be disarming. You might even feel drawn to them at first. They can be funny, smart, and confident. But as time passes, their true behavior shows. They take risks without thinking. They act on impulse. They say things just to get a reaction, even if it hurts you. And when you try to hold them accountable, they twist the truth, or flat out deny what they did. They don't react like most people do. You might expect an apology, some regret, maybe a real conversation, but with them, there's nothing. If they're caught, they may shift blame, change the story, or simply move on without a second thought. Their emotional reactions are often shallow, or faked entirely. One of the most dangerous traits is their anger. It may not happen often, but when it does, it's fast and unpredictable. A small disagreement can lead to a sudden outburst. They can go from calm to furious in seconds. And the rage isn't just loud. It's cold and targeted. There's a sharpness to it, a level of control that makes it even scary after the explosion. They might act like nothing happened. No apology, no guilt, just a reset, as if their rage was normal, and you're overreacting for still being shaken. They often have a long trail of broken relationships, shady deals, or personal chaos, but they rarely take responsibility for any of it. Instead, they live moment to moment, doing whatever serves them in that instant, without concern for who gets hurt along the way. And certainly, here is a 400-word section. Type 4. The gaslighter. Written in smooth, simple English, with natural flow and no conclusion or summary. Ideal for a faceless YouTube video script. It starts small. A comment here, a correction there. You might not even notice it at first. The gaslighter doesn't come in with open conflict. They come in with quiet confusion. They question little things. Your memory, your tone, your reaction. And slowly, they begin to shift your sense of reality. You say, "I remember you said that." They reply, "I never said that." You're making things up. You say, "That really hurt me." They respond, "You're too sensitive."
You always take things the wrong way. Over time, you begin to doubt yourself. You question what really happened. You replay conversations in your head. You wonder if you misunderstood, or if you're being unfair. That's exactly what the gaslighter wants. Their goal isn't to win an argument. It's to make you feel unsure, confused, and off balance. The more you try to explain yourself, the more they twist your words.
If you bring up a problem, they shift the focus. Suddenly, it's not about what they did, it's about how you reacted. They don't say, "I'm sorry." They say, "You're overreacting," or "You always do this." They make you feel like you're the problem, even when you're not. Gaslighters are skilled at creating doubt. They might even bring in fake examples, like "Everyone thinks you're too emotional," or "I'm the only one who puts up with you." These statements aren't just meant to hurt. They're meant to isolate you, to make you question how others see you too. And the worst part, you start to believe it. You start apologizing for things you didn't do. You stop speaking up. You shrink. You second-guess everything. Not because you're weak, but because the gaslighter has created a fog around your mind. A fog built on denial, deflection, and emotional pressure. They don't yell. They don't need to. Their power comes from subtle control. They wear down your confidence with small, constant pressure. You try to stand your ground, but they keep pushing, twisting, denying, until you stop trusting yourself. That's when they have full control. Not through force, but through confusion. Not by being stronger, but by making you feel smaller. Day by day, word by word. Certainly. Here's a 400-word section. Type 5. The blame shifter. Victim role. Written in a clear, natural voice, with smooth flow and no conclusion or summary. Perfect for a faceless YouTube video. They can do something wrong, but somehow it's always your fault. That's the pattern with blame shifters. They don't take responsibility. They twist every situation to make themselves look like the one who's being hurt. Even when they clearly caused the problem, they'll find a way to avoid all blame and put it right back on you. At first, they might seem like someone who's been through a lot. They may talk about how others have treated them unfairly, how no one ever understands them, or how everyone always turns against them. You feel sympathy. You want to help. You think they've just had bad luck. But then the same pattern repeats, again and again. If they lie, it's because they had no choice. If they hurt someone, it's because they were pushed too far. If they break a promise, it's because you didn't remind them. There's always a reason, and it never points back at them. The blame always lands somewhere else. On a friend, a boss, a parent, or most often on you. What makes this type especially tricky is how easily they slip into the role of the victim. If you confront them, they act wounded. If you bring up your own pain, they respond with their own story of how they're actually the one suffering. They change the direction of the conversation until you're the one apologizing for something they did. It's emotionally draining. Over time, you start to feel like you can't speak your mind. You avoid bringing up issues because you already know how it'll go. If you try to stay calm, they accuse you of being cold. If you show frustration, they say you're aggressive. No matter what, you can't win. They create a world where they are never responsible, and you are always overreacting, misunderstanding, or causing the problem. It's exhausting, but they make it seem like they're the one dealing with your behavior. And because they seem so convinced of their own version of events, you begin to wonder if maybe they're right. That's the effect of a blame shifter. They don't just avoid taking responsibility. They rewrite the story to protect their image. And in that story, they're always the one being wronged. Absolutely.
Here's a 400-word section. Type 6. The dark triad combo. Crafted in smooth, natural English, without a conclusion or summary. Ideal for a faceless YouTube narration. Some people are toxic. Some are selfish. But then there are a few who are something much darker. A mix of traits that make them quietly dangerous. These people carry what's known as the dark triad personality. That means they combine 3 traits into one: narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellian behavior. At first glance, they don't stand out. They might be polite, even charming. They can be well-dressed, articulate and socially smart. But underneath that calm and confident surface is someone cold, calculating and fully focused on themselves. Every word, every move, every relationship is about control. From narcissism, they get the sense of entitlement. They believe they are superior, more deserving, more important than others. They crave admiration, but not for connection, just to fuel their ego. From psychopathy, they carry a lack of empathy. They don't feel guilt. They don't care who they hurt, as long as they get what they want. And from Machiavellian traits, they develop deep manipulation skills. They study people. They plan. They lie with purpose. And they do it with a calm face. They don't explode in anger, like others. They don't break down in tears. Their control is quiet, steady and focused. That's what makes them hard to spot. They rarely show cracks. Instead, they smile, listen, and play along, until they don't need you anymore. Then they discard you without warning or remorse. They often rise in social or professional settings, because they know how to perform. They say the right things. They impress the right people. But the closer you get to them, the more you start to notice patterns. The truth shift, the hidden motives, the lack of any real emotion. When things go wrong, they don't form real bonds. Every relationship is a tool. If you're useful, they'll keep you close. If you start to question them, they'll either manipulate you into silence or cut you off completely. They don't care how you feel. They only care how your presence affects their goals. What's most dangerous is that they know exactly what they're doing. They plan steps ahead. They pretend to be vulnerable when needed. They mirror your values to earn your trust. And by the time you realize what they really are, the damage has already been done. Sure, here's a 400-word section, but a quick summary table. Visual voiceover, with smooth rhythmic flow, simple language, and a consistent snapping beat style to reinforce memory. Ideal for a faceless YouTube voiceover. No conclusion or summary is included. Let's run through all 6 types again. Quick and sharp. 1 line. 1 sign. 1 snap. Type 1. The charming manipulator. They pull you in with kindness, then twist your words. Snap. They make excuses. They lie. And they always make you feel like it's your fault. Snap. Type 2. The narcissist. Wants praise. Needs attention. Snap. But when you need support, they vanish. You're just a tool in their story. Snap. Type 3. The psychopath. Impulse rage. Calm face. Cold heart. Snap. Then explode in seconds. Or smile while causing harm. No guilt. No remorse. Snap. Type 4. The gaslighter. You say it happened. They say it didn't. Snap. They twist your memory and feelings until you question your own mind. Snap. Type 5. The blame shifter. They mess up, but blame you. Snap. Always the victim. Never responsible. Somehow they always come out clean. Snap. Type 6. The dark triad combo. Charming, cold and calculating. Snap. They use people like pieces on a chessboard, and they always plan 3 moves ahead. Snap. Each one is different. Each one has a pattern. But the signs, they're always there, if you know how to spot them. Snap. Charming smiles don't always mean safety. Confidence doesn't always mean kindness. Silence doesn't always mean peace. Pay attention to the way you feel after they speak. That's the clue. That's the signal. Now run that list again in your mind. Charming manipulator. Twist your trust. Narcissist. Feeds on praise. Psychopath. Lacks remorse. Gaslighter. Rewrites your reality. Blame shifter. Plays the victim. Dark triad. Uses everything and everyone. These types don't always wear warning signs. Sometimes they wear masks that look just like everyone else. But once you learn the rhythm, once you hear the snap behind their smile, you start to see it. So keep the list close. Say it. Feel it. Remember it. Snap. Because the faster you spot a pattern, the faster you stop the damage. Snap. Certainly. Here's a 400-word section. The How to Protect Yourself. Written in natural flowing language, with simple vocabulary. No conclusion or summary. And perfect for a faceless YouTube script. It starts with your gut. That quiet, uneasy feeling in your chest. The voice in the back of your mind that whispers, something feels off. Don't ignore it. Don't explain it away. That's your first warning sign. And it's usually right. Your instincts are smarter than you think. They notice shifts in tone, subtle red flags, and energy that doesn't match the words being said. Listen to that feeling. Then set your boundaries. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for proof. If someone crosses a line, emotionally, mentally, or physically, you have the right to draw that line again. Clearly, firmly, and without guilt. You don't need to yell. You don't need to explain 10 times. Just be clear. This is not okay with me. If they push back, that tells you exactly what you need to know. Some people don't respect boundaries because they're not used to hearing no. That's not your fault. It's a reflection of their behavior, not your worth. And if someone continues to ignore or twist your limits, you're allowed to step away. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your time, your energy, or your mind. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're aware. It means you've seen enough. And it means you're choosing peace over drama. Distance is sometimes the only way to stay clear-headed. And in some cases, it's the only way to stay safe. You don't have to go through it alone. If you're unsure, if you're stuck, or if you're doubting yourself, reach out. Talk to someone you trust. A friend, a sibling, a counselor. Sometimes all it takes is one outside voice to remind you that what you're feeling is real. That you're not overreacting. That you deserve better. Keep a record if you need to. Write things down. Save messages. It helps you stay grounded in reality when someone is trying to spin it. It also helps you see patterns you may have missed in the moment. Most of all, protect your peace like it's something valuable. Because it is. You don't need to win the argument. You don't need to fix the person. You just need to protect your space, guard your energy, and stand on your truth. Even if your voice shakes. Even if you're scared. Absolutely. Here's a clear and natural sounding closing and call to action section. Perfect for a faceless YouTube video. The signs are there. You just have to notice them. Whether it's charm that feels too perfect, blame that never ends, or words that leave you doubting yourself. Trust what you feel. Recognize the patterns. Take action when something feels wrong. And protect your peace before it's taken. No one deserves to feel small, confused, or controlled. So stay aware, stay sharp, and stay safe. If this video helped you spot even one red flag, give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And don't miss the next one. We'll break down how to deal with each of these types, and what to do if you can't avoid them completely. Thanks for watching. This is Mindspire. Stay strong.